Magnolia, the show that is dedicated to image, brand, and business culture. I'm Nyda Bittmann-Neville, your host. Recently, I was in North Carolina at our home there, and unfortunately, we had a very severe lightning strike to the house, or a surge, whatever it is. It knocked out quite a few things. And so, as you can imagine, I have been working with a variety of different companies trying to get things fixed. And I must say that the level of service ranged from very poor to excellent, and a few things in between. It is amazing how much the people make a difference in your organization. And, I want us just to pause today and not only reflect upon your own company, or you as an individual providing that frontline image and brand to everyone that you interact with. Because it's not the building, it's not the marketing materials. No, it is the people that make the difference. And there are so many ways that we can really strengthen that level of service. And I wanted to share with you some tips and techniques today about service. You may look at them from the standpoint of, is your company delivering this kind of service? Can we really say positively yes as a response to some of these questions? I want you to think about them, but I also want you to think about them from an individual perspective. How are you delivering your service? And it does not matter whether you are dedicated sales and you're out there trying to sell a product or a service, or you are in more of a support role. We all still interact with customers. We still leave that job, go out, tell people who we work for, all about our job, and that enhances the overall image and brand not only of yourself, but the company that you keep. So let's talk just a little bit about some of these tips and techniques. Now, there is no way that the quality of customer service can exceed the quality of the people who deliver it. So they truly are your marketeer. And, our employees will treat others, including your clients, the way that they are treated. And so when you see them, you want to smile. When you know that they've done something good, you need to pat them on the back. We need to challenge our employees. We need to train our employees. We need to develop our employees so that they truly represent us the way that we wish. And we as individuals need to think about, how am I presenting myself? Am I smiling when a customer comes in the door? Because that's really the next one. Do you know your customers? When they walk into your facility, do you know who they are? Now, granted, if you have a shop in maybe a mall or a tourist attraction, no, you probably don't know everybody, but you can sure make sure that you almost do. Hello, how are you, and welcome. If you are in a tourist organization, a tourist company, maybe you do have that constant walk-in traffic. Well, there are so many things that you can find out about the people to make them feel comfortable, to make them tell great stories. Because I bet you sell your product online. I bet you can almost ship it anywhere, right? So do you know your customers? And do they know you? Do they know who the manager is in your office? Can they easily access the manager? There's a cafeteria that makes sure that they have their manager very close to the cashier stand. In fact, they put their office right there, and they keep the door open, and so they can hear if somebody isn't happy, or somebody makes a negative statement, or if somebody says, I'd like to speak to the manager. That manager can be there pretty quick. So do they know you? Do your employees and you go the extra mile? If somebody asks you for a special service, if somebody asks you for something that is just a little bit different, don't you just love it when you go into a restaurant and you say, well, instead of having, may I have, and they look at you and say, well, of course you can. as opposed to, well, may I have broccoli instead of rice? And they say, nope, no substitutes. And right there, it just makes a disconnect, doesn't it? So, when they ask for something special, let's try to see if we can't say yes. It was interesting. I was listening to AM radio. I am an AM radio junkie. And I was listening to one of the hosts, and they were talking about these contracts that, of course, fitness centers and cell phone companies, telephone companies, all these type of companies that get you to sign a contract. And he is just adamant against that. And I found it very interesting because he said, you shouldn't have to bind me to your service. You should provide such excellent service that I want to stay with you. I don't want to go anyplace else, so therefore I don't need a contract. I thought that was an interesting take on that. Now, in some cases, I'm sure that maybe we do, but that's something for you maybe to think about. Are you in some fashion binding those customers to have to stay with you, or are you providing such excellent service that they don't want to go anyplace else? Can your employees handle the complaints that you may get, or an irate customer? Just yesterday I was in a health area, and there was someone who was a little bit upset, and so they went to voice their displeasure at the front window, and the first thing that came out of this young woman's mouth was, well, I didn't make the call. Well, okay, I didn't say that you did make the call. I'm just saying such and such and so and so. And so again, it's how do they respond to someone? And I could see the look on that person's face that didn't make them feel any better, the fact that she immediately got so defensive. There are ways to make sure that your employees can handle those complaints and handle irate customers, because it is an excellent time for you and your company to be able to have the greatest cheerleader possible. Because if you can overcome that upset client, that upset customer, that irate individual, and they leave feeling, I may not have gotten exactly what I wanted, but they met me halfway, or they did everything that they could, they did it professionally, I still feel good about them. Do you know how many people they'll tell? Well, in today's environment with email, probably a lot. So those are just a few things that I want you to think about. And not only for your company, but also for you as an individual. Assess today, throughout all of your interactions, after each one, ask yourself, okay, how did I grade myself? Did I get an A? Hopefully an A+? Or was I down in the B- or the C area? And how could I have improved that interaction? We know it's hot, it's humid, it's the summer, and sometimes we get a little bit irritable, but that's no reason for us not to provide excellent customer service. You've been watching and listening to the Magnolia, heard each and every Friday at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. We provide you a show all dedicated to image, brand, and business culture. So I hope that you will plan to join us. If you've got ideas, if you want a question answered, if you'd like for me to come to your company and do an image audit, help you to establish the best service culture you've ever experienced. And your customers too. Just log on to themagnolia.tv. We'll get in touch and we'll make it happen for you. So until next week, you've been listening and watching The Magnolia. I'm Nyda Bittmann-Neville, your host.